Welcome to Marriage, Let's Talk, hosted by legendary worldwide marriage encounter leader, Father Rosy Rosebrough, featuring Catholic married couples from around the world who demonstrate healthy communication for building better marriages. And now, here's Father Rosy.
Hi, Father Rosy here. I'm glad you could join us today. This podcast is not talking about marriage. It is where we're going to share how to create a better marriage through communicating feelings in authentic ways. I'm introducing a couple now named Kevin and Wendi O'Brien from Fort Worth, Texas, going to share their story and a dialogue with you. So maybe let them introduce themselves and tell us something about themselves. Kevin and Wendi, you're on.
Well, thank you very much, Father Rosy. We are Kevin and Wendi O'Brien. We live in Fort Worth, Texas. We're both native Texans. We're both born in Texas and raised in Texas. We have 5 daughters, ages 18, 15, 13, 11, and 8. So large range, lots of fun, lots of drama. It's wonderful. It's wonderful having all girls, all the same. So you'd think you could just do the same thing over and over again. Well, they're all different. And those of you that have many little children, you know exactly what we're talking about. So I work for the Catholic Diocese of Fort Worth. I work for Bishop Olson. I've been there for 14 years. I'm in the finance side and the business side of church. So church is not a business, but she has business to attend to. And so I help her do that, working with all of our 96 parishes and schools. Wendi.
I have primarily been raising our children these last few years, but in the past year, I have entered the school system where our girls go to school. So I'm a private school religion teacher. There we go, for middle school. And then I also help with extended care at the girls' school. So stay busy jumping between schools. And then for the past 12 years or so, we have had a real estate business where we have rental properties throughout Texas that we help to give families a home.
Okay. So Wendi and Kevin have done the Experience the Marriage Encounter Weekend, and they're involved in leadership things, but they've used the technique we call dialogue and using the intimacy that exploring feelings brings to them, but it nurtures their relationship. So now I'm going to share with you a particular love letter and dialogue that they've done recently.
We always start our letter with most endearing quality. So, Kevin, my beloved, your MEQ today, most endearing quality, was your cheerfulness as you and the girls walked in from a long day. Our question is, what do I think about the health issues in our family and how do I feel about my answer? The health issues in our family really wear me down. Sometimes it feels never ending and like we are the only family with these types of problems. I sometimes think we have reached a balance, but it's not a secure balance. The shoe could drop at any moment. How do I feel about my answer? Well, I feel isolated. In nature, this is a single tent amid miles of uninhabited tundra. The wind is blowing snow across the ice. It is a silence when you ask for help. My isolated is a strong, bitter flavor like Vegemite. It is the kid who sits the bench game after game after game. The intensity of my feeling is about a 7. This touches the deepest part of my heart, like a wallflower watching all her friends dance at the dance. I love you, Wendi.
All right. My beloved Wendi, your most endearing quality today was the tender way that you snuggled with me this morning. I find myself struggling to understand, well, I'm talking on the same question again. What do I think about the health issues in our family, and how do I feel about my answer? I find myself struggling to understand all the issues our girls are facing. I keep hoping they will find their way. I also struggle with how to help them and guide them. I feel frustrated and weak since I don't have any answers for this. To touch this feeling would feel flimsy, like a spoon that bends or breaks when you try to scoop ice cream. It would sound like a static radio station that loses its signal just as your favorite part of your song is playing. It would taste like a flat soda. Physically, it feels like trying to walk after squatting for a very long time. Your legs don't work and you have to force yourself to move. In nature, this is it'd be walking into my garden out in the backyard and to see all the plants that were alive and thriving yesterday just died. My intensity is about a 7 on this one. I love you.
Thank you. All right, so Father Rosy, just go into our dialogue now.
Yes.
I thought yours was actually rather interesting. I did like several of the points that you brought up in there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like it was hard for me to really, like, I don't know, really feel. I don't know. I felt like yours was more clear, more concise. I'd really like to kind of dig into your frustrated and weak feeling.
Okay, we can talk about that one today.
Okay. All right. So you said frustrated and weak is like a static radio station. And all I could think about is like growing up in a small town, and we didn't have MP3 players or anything like that. So like it was like the radio, and every once in a while, like, yeah, driving around or just sitting alone in my room, like the radio would just like kind of quit, and like frustrated. Like it was the only source of entertainment. So that was really a frustrating moment.
Yeah, I could see that, but this one's going to be tighter than that in that it's, it's like it's barely coming in and you finally can kind of begin to feel or to hear that song that you like, and then it just gone right at the part that you were really like your favorite part of that song. It's just that kind of that deep. It's like it's there, but then it runs away from you.
Makes me think about when like things are buffering now with the internet. You're like, oh, there's our movie. No, Circle of Death.
This is getting close.
Okay. You said it was like a flat soda. It makes me think like, I mean, when you're like going to like on a road trip or something like that, and you buy a soda and like you get to the car and you take that first sip and you're like, oh, this is junk. Like I can't, this is awful.
Yeah, you're really looking forward to that sweetness and that
and
goodness.
There's no fixing it.
No, you can only stomp your way back in there.
Yeah. Okay, so your last example, can you read it to me one more time?
Sure. So, in nature, walking into the garden, and
before
that
that, you
one?
said
Feels like trying to walk. After squatting.
Oh, feels like it's trying.
And
to
you're just your legs are dead, and it's just painful.
Yeah. It makes me think of like whenever I go to the grocery store and I'm exhausted from pushing the cart around and getting all the food, and it's hot. Texas is extremely hot. And then I get home and I have to get everything into the house, and like everything's loaded down on me, and I'm going to have to put it all away. Like it just feels like it's like this endless, like, okay, is it kind of?
Yeah, that's very close to what this is. It's just you're weak, you're exhausted, so frustrated, you just can't get to it. I really think you have my feeling.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you very much, Wendi and Kevin. I was trying to explain to people earlier that we exchange thoughts and ideas quickly and report what's going on with the girls back and forth, and what's going on and how many sports you have. And I presume you probably have sports for every one of them. And you report all that kind of stuff, but yet you set aside a special time just to do this kind of a communication that builds tell me how about what has happened over the years that you use this technique to help explore each other's hearts through the gift of feelings.
It really is a part of us that we don't, that getting in tune with our own self, then we're able to share that with, like I get to share that with Kevin. So it's not a part of me that I would share just with anyone, nor is it, but it's also helpful to get in tune with myself each day so that I have something valuable to share. Prior to dialogue, and even sometimes outside of dialogue, you get so drawn into the business of life that you don't feel like you're sharing yourself so much with that person, and it's hard to take time to really evaluate where you're at and have something to share. So for me, that's what helps the most, is knowing that I've got, you know, something that I'm really giving to him that I wouldn't give to anyone else, and that is uniquely me.
Dialogue for me has been kind of an interesting place and spot for us to be. You communicate in a way that you don't communicate. You don't talk this way with people in your office or with people that you meet, and a lot of your friends, even particularly for guys. You don't really. Sometimes you do, but it's very rare if you delve into anything that's deeper there. So in this space and in this time, I'm actually able to open up to my wife in a way that you normally wouldn't. The days are, as she said, the days are so busy, they're so cram-packed full of everything that half the time you're more business partners and trying to run the business of life rather than actually having these kind of deep, thoughtful conversations. There's been so many treasures that have come out over the years that we've been doing this. It's really neat. I've had memories from my childhood that I totally forgotten about that nailed the feeling. And so then all of a sudden I get to share with her a story that probably would never come out again. And then now some of those have turned into inside jokes. And now we can laugh and giggle and just kind of smile at each other or wink because we know exactly what that means. Or when somebody says something by accident, it's like, no, that's a phrase for us. And it's just between the two of us.
When your prime time to write the letter is when, Kevin?
It's moved over the years. It kind of depends upon life dictates a few things. Lately now, it's actually during my lunch break is really when I like it. Either lunch break or just after dinner. It kind of moves around for the different times depending upon, if I get called into a meeting at lunch, I can't stop him. As much as I'd like to, I'd love to take my 10 minutes and hide, but I can't always do that. So, but I prefer lunch break, if not before dinner.
Wendi, how about you?
I prefer the morning. I like the quiet of the morning. So when I get up early and can have my cup of coffee and things, it helps to just gather my thoughts for the day, to be able to before everything, rushes in.
Now, do you communicate during the daytime at all through text or anything?
Sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
I think we text quite a bit.
Comment.
It's interesting. When I was first ordained in 1969, there was a scientific response about the couples may spend 3 minutes a day talking about just themselves. Now it's down to less than a minute and a half. And just about themselves, not about kids, not about work, not about in-laws, not about business, not about whatever, the simple running of the day. But it's interesting that when a couple spends time on a relationship through sharing the intimate feelings and trying to describe them for each other and not try to fix each other, which is hard to keep out of, allows you to handle issues in a much different way and experience intimacy by risking the sharing the feelings and descriptions and also trying to taste and feel those experiences in the other person. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that intimacy, and then also knowing that it's a time for really listening with your heart, right? And that space is kind of a sacred space for the two of us, that I know Kevin is going to receive my letter in a particular way, and he's really going to try and listen with his heart as to what's behind all of my words and behind my feelings. It feels like a very safe place to let those things be shared, and know they're going to be received in a way that's worthy of them, I guess.
How did you quiet the kids tonight? Do you bribe them or throw money to them or put them behind a wall or?
Threaten them with dishes.
Yeah. Everybody got fed early. Our oldest is in a play tonight, and randomly enough, not everyone has an activity. So we have 4 kids at home, and yeah, they're quietly, hopefully, getting homework done and putting the dishes away.
Oh, I guarantee you, there's probably somebody's watching like Instagram or something as well. So,
Probably.
because that's really educational in the evenings.
Pretty soon they'll watch Marriage, Let's Talk.
They all wanted to find out if they could watch the podcast. They're excited about it, Father Rosie.
Well, thank you so much for the evening, for sharing, and God bless you for risking to be live for couples, and hopefully they will help them to understand more about maybe opening the door to the gift of feelings and the intimacy that they can bring with their loved ones.
Thank you, Father Rosie. God bless you.
God bless you. Have a great time. I'm so grateful for the guests we had today who shared willingly themselves in their dialogue. And thank you for joining us. I look forward to the next episode when I join you again once more.
This has been Marriage, Let's Talk, sponsored by Worldwide Marriage Encounter, the foremost faith-inspired marriage enrichment organization in the world, providing married couples with transformative experiences through couples retreats, small groups, and more. Learn to nurture love in your marriage at wwme.org. Marriage, Let's Talk is a production of Mater Media, the apostolate that offers the Celebrate Catholic Marriage experience to energize and fortify married couples through parish events and the 7-step journey to joy. Find out more at matermedia.org.